Hello, it's great to be here in this place talking to these people about these projects in the fringe of the UK's AI Summit. I wanted to talk actually very generally about the opportunity from UKRI to contribute to the responsible adoption of technologies and indeed the imperative, I think, to ensure that technologies are used in a way that benefits everyone. We have in the UK great strengths in research and innovation with an impressive track record across all disciplines and all sectors. This is a huge national strength which we need at this time. I think there is an opportunity to use this to deliver a more sustainable, inclusive, innovation-led economy with really fantastic public services, all things that I think everybody would agree that we need. We will never have the scale of investment of some of our main competitor countries, if you want to look at it that way, like the US or China, but we are small and we are excellent right across the disciplines. And through that, I think we have an opportunity to work differently, to join things up in a way that captures the kind of advantage we need through creative, coordinated agility and carefully targeted collaborations, very much illustrated, I think, by the Responsible AI Network. And I think, more generally, UKRI is an enormous force for good in this activity. We're a crucial national asset. We are a node in a system which allows that kind of connectivity to work, and there are relatively few countries that have that kind of integrated funder that can help to build the kinds of portfolios of investments with aligned incentives that we need to create the kind of research and innovation system to fuel the kind of society that we want to see in a loop. So what is UKRI? And for people who don't know, we're the biggest public sector funder of research and innovation in the UK. We are a relatively new organisation still, a bit more than 5 years, made up of 9 parts, so 7 disciplinary research councils, plus Research England that puts the block grant funding into English universities, working closely with the equivalent bodies in the devolved nations, and Innovate UK, the UK's innovation agency. So through joining all of that stuff up, that's why we have the opportunity to work in this different way. We are, of course, a public body accountable to government, and whilst I've stressed our unique position in the system, we are absolutely part of that system, working with all sectors, academia, business, public sector, third sector, and of course, globally with our international partners. I think you can think of the outcomes of research and innovation, of a really high quality research and innovation system, as this list of things. So mostly we tend to reach to the outcomes as new knowledge, ideas, products and services, but I think it is critical to think of the system in the fully connected way, delivering the ultimate outcomes that we want to see. Innovative, high productivity businesses, affordable, high quality public services with really good jobs for people, and people in the end are what it's about, thriving people working together to tackle some of the biggest challenges that we face globally. So I'm incredibly excited in this context by the creation of the new department for science, innovation and technology that puts science at the heart of government. It has an explicitly cross-government role, and its manifesto is this document called the Science and Technology Framework, which as a framework, I think, brilliantly sets out the 10 things you need to think about to create the kind of joined up and connected system that we need. It also lists the immediate actions that are going to be delivered by this government under those 10 things, but actually the 10 things should last and sustain over a long period of time as a guiding way of thinking about how research and innovation can deliver for people and indeed for the planet. I have a kind of diagrammatic version of this. I think you can think about our society as these 3 corners. High productivity, innovative, high growth businesses with fantastic jobs. high quality, high productivity, innovative, affordable public services, and then highly skilled, healthy, prospering people. And all of this, of course, in the context of a sustainable, circular kind of economy. So here we are with these three corners, and they are intimately interdependent and connected to one another. So obviously, the highly skilled, healthy, prospering people are needed to work in the fantastic public services, but the fantastic public services also serve and support and help to build the kind of society where we have highly skilled, healthy, prospering people. Those people are also essential to fill the jobs in the high productivity, innovative, high growth businesses, and indeed to drive the innovation in those businesses. And again, the high productivity businesses with the great jobs contributes to the prosperity of people all over the country. And then connecting the high productivity businesses and the jobs is one rather obvious thing, which is tax revenues. And those tax revenues also support the public services. Now, we can think about this triangle, and if it's a triangle connected only in this way, there is a significant risk of a downward spiral if your economy is not sufficiently growing and high productivity. The tax revenues that you take out of the companies and the jobs to support the public services cannot do that, and then you're in a downward spiral where there isn't enough money to fund the public services that you want, and so on and so forth. That's a situation we desperately need to avoid, and so we need to think in a more imaginative way about how we use tax money not only to support the public services directly, but also to support the full interactions across this triangle and drive up the positive feedback that creates prosperity in the long term. And I would identify two examples of that, one of which is public procurement. If the things you need for your public services are procured from your high productivity, innovative businesses, then the tax money you spend supports both the businesses and the public services. And we need to get that right in the UK. That's one of the key pillars in the science and technology framework. But the part that I'm most interested in is investment in research and innovation, R&D investment. And that's another thing you can do with your tax. And that's an incredibly good way to connect up these three corners and drive things in the positive cycle that creates growth and supports people and supports our public services. And so that I see as a key role for UKRI, but also for the much wider private sector investment in research and innovation and across the whole economy. Obviously, that R&D investment creates the ideas and the new products and services and so on at the bottom of that list I showed you. And it also creates the highly skilled people, because the work people do to develop those products and services also simultaneously increases their skills. All of this needs to happen in the context of the other pillars of the framework, so infrastructure, high quality regulation and standards, stable signalling about where we're going, tech prioritization, which I'll get to in a minute, deep international engagement, and of course, good interactions with the private sector investment, both in the UK and overseas. And all of this we need to think of in the context of building this healthy, thriving society that allows the connections across the triangles to thrive. And that, again, I will loop back to the responsible AI work, is absolutely critical to building the connections we need to make this triangle work. And I would also point out that I think UKRI is a crucial part of this, and you can see, I hope, how we fit into this diagram to drive this cycle in a good direction. So in this context, if you think about the extraordinary role of transformative technologies, you can see why, under the framework, picking priority technologies in which to invest is critical, because they are transformative. These kinds of platform technologies work right across that triangle to deliver. They deliver better discoveries. You can really drive discovery more rapidly with these kinds of new technologies. But of course, they also support innovation in business and innovation in our public services, creating absolutely that positive feedback that drives the cycle around in a good direction. And so the fact that these 5 technologies have been picked as our immediate priorities in the investment through the strategic framework, I think is very powerful. And of course, this week is all about AI, but don't forget the other ones, they're also jolly important. So from a UKRI point of view, we have the opportunity as a key node in that system to build a portfolio of investments, for example, in AI, that support that triangle and support the positive interactions around the triangle to drive things up in the way that we need them increased. We have, in the context of all of those technologies, a £250 million technology mission fund that supports those technologies. And our goal is to use that funding to drive that join up that I think is so important. So for AI, we need to think about all the different components that we need. We need the talented people across disciplines and sectors and career stages. So it's not just about the technology itself. Of course, it's about driving rapid adoption and diffusion of that technology across both the private and public sectors and into our research and innovation base. We need the strong, broad foundations of AI capability, which is part of how we attract and retain the kinds of talent we need. And of course, right across the board, thinking about this in this joined up way, we need to build the kinds of collaborations that allow adoption of AI responsibly in real world context, delivering for our society and our economy. And that needs new technical and socio-technical capabilities for responsible, trustworthy AI, and all of that drives product development, again, across the cycle. It all links together. So we have a huge investment portfolio that aims to join these bits up, $1 billion invested in over recent years in a whole range of different projects, like the Trustworthy Autonomous Systems Hub, or investment to connect AI regulation and governance with real-world practices through the Ada Lovelace Institute. We have a lot of investment in skills, centres for doctoral training, Turing fellowships, and again, acting in that way with a hub into which everybody can reach to gain the skills that they need, whoever they are, hopefully, when they need access to that kind of expertise. And so just looping back to my last slide on the multiple outcomes from research and innovation, I hope what I've given you a flavour of is how we need to think about these outcomes, how we need to wire them together in the most productive possible way, and how thinking about our investment in these things in this portfolio-based approach allows us to do that, aligning not only the investment but also the incentives that create the opportunities, for example, for people to build diverse careers across the corners of the triangle. And I will stop there and take questions, and thank you very much for listening. We're out of time for questions. Terrible. I went on too long. Thank you very much, everybody.
Another round of applause for Professor Jane Leyser. Thank you so much.